Which iconic monsters exist in your world? This question uh, can seem kind of simple, really, if you start thinking about, like, I don't know, dragons or giants. But Dungeons and Dragons has some iconic ones, and I wanted to do a little twist on them for my world and how I incorporate them. Let's start with I'll give you three that exist in my world and their purpose for existing in my world. The first one is the iconic owlbear. Um, they're everywhere. They are a symptom of the result of a problem in this world after the Gods Down conflict. Essentially, nature has gone crazy, and the owlbear and its more powerful cousin, the chimera, are examples of this weird, aberrant blending of what normally should be a natural phenomenon has become extremely dangerous. So owlbears, chimera, and any permutation thereof, strange, half goat, half eagles and things, are not natural to the normal order, and therefore are extremely dangerous in the world when travelers go from these enclosed city-states and become engrossed in the political maneuverings of the 12 houses. So one of the limitations of humanity spreading and truly growing is that there are these dangerous creatures out there in the wild. They're big, they're powerful, they're dire versions of themselves, and you really need some great hunters, protectors, a vanguard to protect the important dignitaries that travel from city-state to city-state. The second, monsters are actually part of society, and they are the Blackfoot, the hooved ones. They are minotaurs, centaurs, and satyrs, and slight permutations thereof. They still have a slight fey nature to them, but they are actually part of, the House of Spring. They live in the expanses that are left in the world. They are the House of the Harvest. They are the ones who have provided food and sustenance to the rest of the other 11 houses and the unnamed house, the unrecognized house. They are the ones. I mean, it's nothing to see a minotaur bodyguard, centaur messengers, satyrs acting as sages, or those who are like entertaining others. And in my world, they are a playable race. One of the problems, though, especially with centaurs, is that they don't fit into dungeons. So my world takes place very much above ground, although there is some dungeon delving, and I wanted the idea of people being able to run across the plains to travel from location to location, to have the classic warriors and knights fighting on horseback or even flying mounts, and so they kind of represent that portion of it. Strangely enough, like in my world, minotaurs are by and large vegetarian. They do eat some meat byproducts. They are not flesh eaters. Like, they don't kill human beings or humanoids to eat them, but they are extremely violent. They're very protective of their society and their culture. They have, over the years, they have reluctantly accepted humanity into their ranks. In essence, they are the House of Spring. It's the other player character races that have embedded themselves into society. So yes, minotaurs, centaurs, satyrs, and what they're about. Like, minotaurs are the ones who have by and large protect like orchards and crops and even hunting grounds, whereas the satyrs are the ones who bring like hallucinogens and drugs and herbal concoctions to take your mind and body to another place. And the centaur, they are more of a nomadic and wanderers, but they too have been able to find like and trade with berries and seeds and things that they find out in the wild, to bring to society. And so therefore there is no like war, there's no hatred. There might be some animosity and even some like you need us more than we need you kind of mentality with them, on a societal basis. But other than that, let's go for our third iconic monster. It's got to be the dragon. In my world, dragons are in a depressed state, and this has affected them physically. After the God's Down conflict, when dragons give birth to their eggs, the eggs are by and large mutated. They're either stillborn or even worse, they give birth to what are essentially kobolds. And those kobolds, through the course of their life, as they start to shed their lizard-like skin, become the player characters known as the Dragonborn. And they also mutate into other scaled beings, from lizardmen to troglodytes and Yanti, to Medusa and Naga. And so when they shed their skin, some of them just go on with their normal lives in the form that they were. Others transfer into another state. And dragons, the actual dragons themselves, people and the player character races kind of worship them. Some of them do, and want to bring the dragons back as a replacement for the gods that are missing. There are the three kneeling gods, but they're very elusive. They take place in the world and they walk upon the earth. Even like when casters cast spells, they're standing there, but there's no written documents about them. They are not dominion over the entire world. They have reluctantly given back some magical abilities to the wizarding races and wizarding skilled folk. So dragons have started to take that place, and they want these dragons to wake up and to be more active and to become the god kings that dragons are, because they are the physical manifestation of something greater than the rest of us. And so there are dragons that sit upon treasure, which in many ways is a throwback to how society was in the old days. And so in my world, while dragons, they do sit upon big giant treasure, a lot of that treasure are like lost secrets, whether they're massive devices, whether they are tomes of magic, even coin and historical artifacts. And they sit upon them because humanity lost it. And in many ways, they blame humanity for empowering the gods to engage in this conflict, because if it wasn't for humanity, that's where the gods get their power from. And so a lot of the dragons are almost waiting for humanity to die out and waiting for them to just go away. They're insects. I'll just sleep it away till they're gone, and then we'll bring ourselves back. Little by little, the dragons have realized that, wait a minute, humanity's almost gone anyway. We can lead them. I can use them. We can reshape this world in our own image. And so therefore, there's this like a weird psychological imperative to either throw off the shackles of the depression or to dive into it and to fall into a eternal slumber, waiting for humanity to just completely remove itself off the world of Roanarch and take over. So those are the basic iconic monsters that I have in my world. Let me know about your iconic monsters. Like, how would you use them? How are they changed? Are they extremely rare? Do they fill the nooks and crannies? Like in my world, like owlbears and chimera, or chimera, if you want to call them that. they're pretty numerous. Like there's like owlbears are a thing. Like people, take their skins and feathers and stuff and make items out of them when they can find them. They hunt them down. Whereas uh, minotaurs and centaurs are part and parcel of our society, and dragons, although quite rare, they're more numerous than people would like to think. And if they were to wake up, they truly would be god kings. So anyway, I'm DBJ. Of course, if you're bothering to watch this video, you automatically have to know about the hashtag My 30-Day World Challenge. All the links are below concerning the Kickstarter for A Dead Man's Guide to Dragon Grin by Absolute Tabletop, and the brothers over at Tabletop Terrors. And of course, I am DBJ. I am a contributing writer to Critical Hit Publishing. My baby is the cinematic environs. I would greatly appreciate you to check those out as well. There's reviews on Drive Through RPG. And thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you tomorrow on the challenge.